Imagine for a moment, what if the Ice Age, that period of extreme cold and struggle for survival we've been taught about, was actually the stage for a much more complex drama than simple primal existence? And what if, beneath the relentless mantle of ice and snow that covered vast expanses of our planet for millennia, there weren't just nomadic hunter-gatherers, but rather the forgotten vestiges of an advanced civilization, hidden in plain sight, just waiting to be uncovered. A civilization with astronomical knowledge, engineering principles, and even technologies that traditional archaeology, trapped in established paradigms, refuses to acknowledge or even consider. A civilization capable of mapping the stars, harnessing unknown energies, and leaving behind a legacy of impossible structures. Official history paints a familiar picture of the Pleistocene, a frozen world where humanity took its first hesitant steps. It's an image of raw survival, of an intelligence still forming, focused only on the most basic needs. Nomads in caves, mastering fire out of necessity, hunting mammoths with crude, chipped stone tools, living a precarious existence. This narrative suggests humanity as simple hunter-gatherers, far from any complex societal structures or advanced thought. But what if this narrative is drastically incomplete? What if, long before we imagine, perhaps even before the peak of the last ice age, minds of incredible brilliance had already precisely mapped the stars and constructed grandiose monuments with advanced engineering? What if they had mastered scientific principles like geodesy, acoustics, and even some form of energy that we would only rediscover millennia later in our modern era? What if the true history of humanity is far more profound and complex than we've been led to believe, hidden under a veil of ice and forgotten time? To find the true clues, we need to look beyond archaeological dogmas and pre-established dates. Sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey shock us with their architectural and symbolic complexity, erected over 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. This was long before the invention of agriculture, pottery, or even metallurgy. Who built them? Were they merely hunter-gatherers, capable of moving and sculpting monoliths weighing up to 20 tons without advanced tools? These carvings, depicting animals and abstract symbols, are not simple cave drawings. They reveal a sophisticated cosmology, an advanced understanding of animal behavior, and an artistic sensibility far beyond what's expected from that period. They pose a fundamental question. How could such monumental and intricately decorated structures appear so suddenly, out of nowhere, defying all known developmental timelines for human civilization? Or were they the remnants of something much larger, a sophisticated culture that possessed a profound knowledge of astronomy and geodesy, and that survived, or tried to survive, a global cataclysm, leaving these structures as a coded legacy, a message for the future embedded in stone and starlight, guiding future generations to rediscover lost truths? And what about cartographic anomalies, artifacts that defy their own time? Take, for example, fragments of an antique map, like the one drawn by the Ottoman admiral Piri Reis in 1513. This map surprisingly already showed the coast of Antarctica free of ice, with topographical details of rivers and mountains that would only be confirmed by seismic soundings and satellites centuries later, under kilometers of ice. How is this possible? If Antarctica was only officially discovered in 1820 and precisely mapped much later, in the mid-20th century, using advanced technology, could it be evidence of an ancient civilization with global cartographic capabilities, which witnessed the Earth in a different state? perhaps before or during the initial phase of the Ice Age, when Antarctica was a temperate continent, free of its massive ice sheet, and transmitted this knowledge through generations until it reached the hands of medieval navigators, who in turn copied from even older, now lost, sources. The millimeter precision of cuts and joints in stones at Sacsayhuaman, Peru, where blocks of hundreds of tons fit so perfectly that a sheet of paper wouldn't pass between them. This precision points to a mastery of materials and geometry far beyond what is officially recognized. Or the alignment with complex astronomical cycles, like the precession of the equinoxes, a 25,920-year cycle, found in various cultures and megalithic monuments around the world. Such deep understanding simply doesn't fit the image of primitive humanity recently emerged from caves. Where did this advanced knowledge come from, so complex and universally present? Could it be a legacy of a forgotten era, transmitted through myths, legends, symbols, and structures that function as time capsules, waiting for modern humanity to decipher their messages and unlock the secrets of our true past? These monuments are not just stone. They are libraries of lost wisdom. Here, the Ice Age ceases to be just a climatic backdrop and becomes a stage for a cosmic tragedy of epic proportions. The Younger Dryas Impact Event, a scenario of multiple comet or asteroid impacts around 12,800 years ago, may have been the final trigger. Evidence like nanodiamonds, melt glass, and platinum anomalies found across continents strongly supports this hypothesis. This wasn't a slow climate shift, but an abrupt, cataclysmic strike that plunged the planet into chaos, an impact winter that incinerated and then froze the world. An event so catastrophic that it decimated megafauna and altered the global climate abruptly, plunging the planet back into an intense cold for over 1,000 years. The Younger Dryas mini-ice age. This wasn't just a natural cycle. It was a cosmic wound, a winter of ashes that brought the world to its knees, leaving only the scattered remnants of life. And yes, it swept an advanced civilization out of existence, forcing the few survivors into a brutal reset, losing almost all of their knowledge, their technologies, and their complex social organization. They became the primitives we know, but with an ancestral memory of a better, lost time, struggling to rebuild from the very beginning. But knowledge, even if fragmented and transformed into legends, is not completely lost. The few survivors, carrying with them the shards of forgotten wisdom and the memories of a world lost, would have become the teachers and ancients of the new generations, passing on, through myths, legends, allegories, and mysterious symbols, the vestiges of that golden age and the catastrophe that ended it. These are not just stories. They are coded messages from a lost time, embedded in our collective consciousness. This is why we find stories of great floods, ice ages, and civilizing gods in cultures so distant and seemingly unconnected, like echoes of a deep collective memory, a shared legacy of a global catastrophe and a lost civilization that once encompassed the entire world. The Ice Age, then, is not just a chapter in Earth's natural history, but a tomb for an overwhelming truth, a frozen veil over the past. By questioning what we have been taught, by following the clues left in monumental stones, anomalous maps, and ancestral myths, we can begin to reconstruct the true saga of humanity. A saga grander, more complex, older, and perhaps more frightening than we ever imagined. What else will Earth's lost history reveal to us? Discover in the next episodes, where we will continue to unravel the secrets of our forgotten past.